Hi, I'm Jo Huey, and today I'm talking about chaos. So it's C for chaos. First of all, what is chaos? So the definition that I found is complete disorder and confusion. And so for families of alcoholics, this is something that we experience a lot of the time. Not everyone will, everyone's situation is very different, but for me, my home life was very chaotic. There's always the physical environment that we find ourselves in, and whether that's quite chaotic or whether it's the chaos that goes on in our own mind. So obviously that changes over time. So whether you're living with a drinker now or not, whether you've grown up with a drinker, there will have been times in your life where you would have experienced some sort of chaos. Because that's the nature of living with someone's drinking. It's a very unpredictable environment. And so where your physical environment is very unpredictable, you don't know what's going to happen. You don't know the mood that the drinker's going to be in. You don't know whether or not they're going to come home and be happy to see you, or whether they're going to have had a bad day and then take it out on you. And it's not just that, it's the fact that when, depending on where their mental state is and what's happened for them, then has a subsequent impact on everybody else in the family, which then, I believe unintentionally, that is the result of their behaviour and how they are. It causes this chaos. And for many addicts who I've spoken to, that isn't their intention, but it is a result of their drinking. So, their lies, their manipulation, all of these things create chaos, because one minute they're saying one thing, then they're saying something else. And also I think that the environment, depending on whether you had one or both parents or caregivers drinking, can be quite chaotic in the sense that if you're a child growing up in that environment, you don't know whether you're going to get your breakfast in the morning, whether anyone's going to have made you any lunch to take to school. And if it does happen, it can be last minute, all that kind of thing. And then what then develops over time and then continues into adult life is this chaos in our own mind, which we have kind of gotten in the habit of through living in this environment. So we can feel a lot of confusion. We can also do a lot of overthinking. So even as a child, subconsciously you are planning, you're strategically thinking of where you can place yourself so that you're in a safe place, what you'll say, how you'll say it, because you learn over time that you need to be quite smart with your actions if you're going to keep yourself safe. And that takes a lot of thinking, preparation, and kind of too much for a child. And I guess shouldn't be expected to think that way in a normal, healthy environment. So there is this sense of confusion, overthinking in our own minds. That's kind of like a chaos as well. Also, lots of self-doubt, I think, can cause quite a lot of chaos, because for me, I was forever doubting myself, what I saw, what I felt, because I was having parents telling me what I was seeing and thinking and feeling wasn't really right, because they were trying to cover it up or make light of it or minimise it. So what impact does this have? So I've spoken about some of these things. So we have this overwhelm that we experience when we are in a sense of chaos, whether that's physically or mentally. There's lots of unpredictability. We have fear as well, because as a child anyway, and sometimes as an adult, if you've got a very aggressive drinker in your home, there can be a lot of fear there, and depending on your character type, whether you can cope with that or not. Lack of control is another thing. And also what I want to mention in terms of impact is that when we grow up in this environment and then are adults, so like myself now, for a period of time for me in my life, I was very attracted to drama. Wherever there was drama, or I'd create the drama, because that was something subconsciously I was used to and where I was comfortable, even though in a weird way it wasn't a comfortable place to be. it was familiar to me, and we like the familiar, we don't like the unknown. So maybe in your life you're creating chaos because that's what you're used to, or you're drawn to it, not intentionally or consciously, but you just naturally find yourself in environments where you're in the midst of like just day-to-day stuff, like it all seems a bit chaotic rather than calm and sort of calm and collected. So some tips that I've got, and this really works very much in line with 12-step programs, is about detaching. So detaching with love. And sometimes that can be from yourself as much as others. We need to detach from certain situations that we find ourselves in order to get that clarity. How often do we see other people in situations, and it's so easy for us to say, oh, just do this or whatever, because we aren't in it. When we're so close to it, that's really hard to get that clarity. So detaching, and also just keep it simple. You know, we as children certainly probably didn't have that option, but in our life as adults, we need to try and keep things as simple as possible in order to reduce the chaos that we're likely to experience. And this sort of thing takes time, and you need to reflect on your own life. So whether you're living with a drinker now or not, the impact is obviously, it doesn't just go away because you're not living with them anymore, or even seeing them anymore. These things, especially if you've grown up with it, will stay with you until you've worked on them and to overcome them. So I hope that you found that helpful. I'm going to do a blog about this as well, so you can take a look at my website, and I'll be following up with this idea with the theme of chaos and going into a little bit more detail. So hope you've enjoyed this, and remember to subscribe to my YouTube channel, and I look forward to any comments that you might have, and I'll speak to you soon.